if you're like me, you have a deep respect for stuff that is old school cool. Well, it doesn't get much more old school cool than this right here. The Cimarron 1865 Spencer Carbine in 45 long Colt. Hello folks, welcome to the Adventure Cowboy channel. Today we're going to be shooting the Cimarron 1865 Spencer Carbine. The Cimarron 1865 Spencer Carbine is manufactured by Army Sport, which is a division of Chiappa Firearms in Italy. Cock the hammer back, half cock, open the breech with a swift motion, and then close the breech also with a swift motion. Cock the hammer back all the way. If you watch very many videos on the operation of a Spencer Carbine like this, one of the things you're going to see is that the actions seem to be a bit clunky as far as their feeding goes. What I have found shooting this Spencer and another one is that mostly has to do with the type of ammo that you're feeding it. What I have found works the best is Winchester 255 grain. It says round nose. Just got it from Walmart. This feeds flawlessly. I'm going to attempt to demonstrate here how fast the Spencer can cycle and how smooth it can cycle. The Spencer Carbine does not have a very strong injector, so it helps to have the barrel elevated as you're cycling the action. But I'm going to cock the hammer back one click and I'm going to show you how smooth the action can run. One little hang up there, but pretty slick. Now I just take that and stick it in my pocket. And then you're supposed to be able to load 7 rounds in this. So let's see how many we put. 1. Okay, that's 7. Ready to go. Alright, we're at 50 yards with the Cimarron 1865 Spencer Carbine. Got a few rounds down range, kind of have an idea where it's going to hit, so let's see what we can do with it. There's one old bullet hole right there. This action on the Cimarron Spencer Carbine is very distinct sounding. Cimarron does send me quite a few guns, and I like all of them, but there's a few that I love, and that would be my 1874 Sharps Billy Dixon, my 1886 Deluxe, and this 1865 Spencer Carbine is right there with them. In fact, this one's not going back to Cimarron. I'm going to keep it. Spencer has a post front sight with a ladder rear sight. Well folks, as much as I've enjoyed doing this review, I'm getting cold. It's the middle of winter here in southwest Montana. My ears are getting cold, trigger finger's getting numb, and shooting this thing has reminded me of a warmer time down in South Texas. Well, I learned about a Spencer Carbine from Mr. Reno Chiappa himself. Enjoy. Hello folks, this is Clayton Marksher, the Adventure Cowboy, and with me today I have Mr. Reno Chiappa, owner of Ciappa Firearms. And today I get to shoot the Spencer, and I've never shot a Spencer before, so he's going to tell me how to operate one.
Yeah, first step is you need to remove the magazine tube.
Okay.
Okay.
And just pull it out?
Pull it out, yes.
All the way?
Exactly.
Okay.
You can load.
45 long Colt. This one. Do you make it in any other calibers?
Yes, we make also 4440 and 5650 Spencer.
5650 was the original?
Is the original, but now is center fire. On the original is rim fire.
Okay.
We convert the system of the percussion and we move it in center.
Okay.
Because the big. Yes.
And then
you need to turn off. Perfect.
Perfect.
Now you can load with the lever. Open the lever complete. Open the lever at the end, okay, and close a little faster. Oops.
There we go.
And you need to cock the hammer.
Okay.
Each time. Okay.
All right, and we're ready to go.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll shoot my pumpkin down there.
Yeah. Just a little on the right, but you hit.
That was on the right?
Turn.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's better.
Yeah, there we go.
The magazine
This
spring.
takes a little technique.
Open. Okay.
Oh, that was easy. Is that it?
Open. Okay. It's finished.
It's finished? Oh, okay. That was really cool.
Basso a destra. Ancora un po' in basso. Faglielo a
The Spencer Carbine was designed in the late 1850s and patented in 1860. It was originally chambered in 56-56. Now, what most of us that are familiar with black powder rifles would associate that with is the diameter of the bullet with how many grains of powder are behind the bullet. But in this case, 56-56 referred to the diameter of the rear of the case and the diameter of the front of the case. This was a straight-walled cartridge. The 56-56 was a rimfire as well. In 1865, Spencer redesigned his carbine to chamber a new cartridge, 56-50. When we're talking about the significance of the Spencer carbine, it is important to remember that the firearms of the day were muzzle loaders. 58 caliber was probably the most common firearm during the Civil War. But when you have a muzzle loader, you have a very slow rate of fire because you have to load each round individually through the muzzle of the gun, pound it down into the barrel, and then put a percussion cap on the nipple and fire it off. And then in order to shoot another round, you got to go through that whole process over again. The other danger with muzzle loaders is that they use loose powder, and the powder was very susceptible to getting moisture in it, which would ruin it. So when the metallic cartridges came along, it solved a lot of problems. They had a self-contained copper cartridge, later brass, that held all the powder inside of it, so you didn't have to worry about it getting wet. And with the Spencer's magazine tube in the buttstock, all the cartridges are very protected. The fact that the Spencer carbine had a speed loading system was very significant, given the fact that a soldier could just take one of those tubes, I believe it's called a Blakesley tube, could take one of those tubes with 7 rounds, dump it into the butt of the gun, put the follower back in, and he was ready to go. Each one of these tubes would hold 7 rounds of ammo, and they're roughly the same diameter as the hole in the butt of the stock. And there was anywhere from 10 to 13 of these tubes in a pouch. A lot of soldiers didn't really like the tube system because when you had 10 to 13 tubes full of 7 rounds of ammo each, the thing weighed about 9 pounds, which is probably about what the gun itself weighs. Spencer really wanted to get this into the hands of the United States Army, but he didn't have a lot of luck in getting much of an audience. A lot of the military leaders in the day were afraid that if they gave their soldiers these repeating rifles, that the soldiers would just waste ammo and just fire away blindly. So they were hesitant to accept any change. After struggling for a long time to try to get an Army contract with these rifles, eventually Spencer was able to get an audience with none other than President Abraham Lincoln. He went and showed Abraham Lincoln the gun. He took it all apart, put it back together, showed him all the inner workings. Lincoln was impressed. He asked Spencer to come back the next day and they would do some shooting. So they went out near where the George Washington Monument is today and they shot this rifle. Lincoln, his son, and Spencer. Lincoln was so impressed with the firearm that the Union Army ended up ordering a lot of them. This rifle represents a lot of American ingenuity. It was developed during a time when America was going through some real growing pains, and it had a significant part in the direction of our country because of the battles that it played a significant part in. The Cimarron 1865 Spencer carbine is probably going to be most at home in the hands of the reenactor or the collector. However, I plan on using it for hunting. The 45 long Colt chambering is more than adequate for hunting deer, and I've even taken elk with it. So hopefully you'll be seeing this Spencer carbine in a future video where I'm hunting here in Montana. And with the Spencer's whoops. Dang it. That'll go on the blooper reel.